May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls, your heart will.
The whole of today's news is overshadowed and darkened by a terrible mine disaster in North Wales. There was an explosion followed by fire at Gresford Colliery near Wrexham early this morning. Of the men working in the mine at the time, more than 200 safely reached the surface. But for the rest, we deeply regret to say the position is extremely serious. 6 bodies were brought to the top within a few hours of the outbreak, and the Ministry of Mines has been informed that the number of men still trapped by fire in the pit is believed to be between 100 and 120. But it is improbable that full details will be known before tomorrow. Good progress is being made in subduing the fire, and the rescue work is being vigorously continued in the hope of getting to the area where the men are cut off. But the work is tragically difficult, and already 3 members of a rescue party have lost their lives. We would like to express, on behalf of our listeners, our profound sympathy with the relatives of those involved in this terrible disaster. Throughout the whole of last night and today, rescue parties have been continuing their fight against the fire in the Gresford mine, making every possible effort to reach the miners trapped in the workings. It is with the very deepest regret that we have to give you this statement, just issued from the Ministry of Mines. The Mines Department has just been notified by the Chief Inspector of Mines at Gresford Colliery that, in view of the grave and increasing risk of continuing the rescue operations, and being satisfied that none of the persons now left in the mine can still be alive, His Majesty's Inspectors of Mines, the representatives of the colliery management, and the representatives of the workmen employed have decided to abandon the operations, and all persons engaged in them have been withdrawn from the mine. It is feared that the casualty list may be still heavier than the estimates published yesterday evening. With the number of those who have lost their lives at Gresford Colliery given as 264, the pit has now been sealed up at the top of the shafts. An inquest on the bodies that have been recovered was opened in the Wrexham Garden Village Institute this morning, and after giving evidence of identification, was adjourned until October the 22nd. The coroner expressed his deep sympathy with the relatives of the men who had lost their lives, and other expressions of sympathy were also made by the legal representatives. From abroad, as well as at home, condolences on the terrible happenings at Gresford Colliery have been coming in.
May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls, your heart will be true. You walk a lonely road, oh how far you are it be the shadows call will fly away.
Wrexham's a place that likes to remember its mining past, and the Gresford disaster, of course, will never be forgotten. But it's here in the town centre that a remarkable archive has turned up, in a lawyer's office.
It was a black day for Wales, one of the blackest, an industrial tragedy on an almost unimaginable scale. Albert Rowlands may be the last survivor of those who were working at Gresford at the time. Aged 14, he was in the lamp room on the surface. His father, a collier, was among those killed underground. The memories are still vivid.
After 2 or 3 hours, there was dead silence for some time. Then quite a few of the miners that had already come out and gone, all returning. I remember one young man, he'd be about 18, asking for volunteers to go down with him. It was obvious that it was a waste of time, really. They did bring bodies out. We saw 10 bodies, stretchers come out and covered with blankets, and that was it then.
The strong room of a law office where the documents were discovered, gathering dust for perhaps 70 years. The firm had represented miners' families in the inquiry which followed the disaster.
We have a copy of a ballad entitled The Gresford Disaster.
Solicitor Glenn Murphy stumbled across the papers during a clear-up.
Strong rooms in solicitors' offices are a treasure trove for old documents, and they just get put away in the back, gathering dust, until somebody decides to come along and do a tidy-up.
It's out now. What are you going to do with it?
I'm open to suggestions. I'm sure the firm would like to see it made available for people to see or refer to, and it may be that a local mining museum may be interested.
And interest in the Gresford disaster will never go away. 266 lives lost for coal.
The Durham Miners' Gala is a remarkable event. The whole of human nature is there, from the children waving their flags to old injured miners in wheelchairs going by, and you see the whole of the human race there, and it's a very, very moving occasion. And then Gresford sort of summarises it. Beautiful piece of music, and I think it's accepted all over this country as the symbol of the miners and their sacrifices. I think what Gresford, in the words of the hymn, have done is to remind people who listen of the enormous debt we owe to the miners, and it is a cultural debt too, because the miners' bands and music and songs and everything, but it is also a debt we owe to the miners for having made it possible for us to become an industrial nation. And when they were described by Mrs. Thatcher as the enemy within, an incredible phrase about the most courageous men in Britain.
Now, you read Peter Crookston's book, which is about largely about people's emotional responses to Gresford, and a little bit about Robert Saint, the miner who wrote it. What do you make of the book?
Well, Peter Crookston's book is very remarkable because he knows the area where he comes from it, and he's caught the spirit of the industry and the story of Gresford and brought it together in a very, very skilled way. And I think it is something that future generations will go back to understand the Gresford hymn, but also to understand the industry which it spoke about. It's a very, very remarkable book.